Hello everyone, and with the Millennium Stadium standing by then to erupt to the nerve-tingling sounds of a full-throated roar, I wonder how many of the multi-millions of viewers tuning in around the world, 158 countries in all, how many could possibly have envisaged when this season's competition got underway that unfashionable Millwall will be here in these sumptuous surroundings, preparing to take on the might of Manchester United. Never mind Sunderland in 73, Southampton in 76, West Ham in 1980, Wimbledon in 88. If the team from South East London, featuring in their first ever major cup final, overcome the enormous odds stacked against them today and succeed, it would have to rank as the mother of all FA Cup final upsets. Let's confirm the lineup set today, starting with Manchester United. Sir Alex Ferguson had really only a couple of selection problems to resolve once Roy Keane was declared fit. Darren Fletcher has won the place alongside the skipper rather than Phil Neville. And in goal, the manager prefers American Tim Howard to Roy Carroll. No Louis Saha, of course, he's cup-tied. But such attacking flair with the likes of Ruud van Nistelrooy, Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Scholes and Ryan Giggs.
Yes, no real surprises there. I suppose it's in the middle of the field, really. But you look at that, it's full of creative players. Ronaldo, Darren Fletcher loves to get forward from that position. Roy Keane will sit there. Giggsy will certainly test Marvin Elliott, the young right back for Millwall. So it's a very attacking lineup in which Alex Ferguson feels that he can actually get at Millwall.
Well, just as Roy Keane is considered such a key midfield ingredient for United, so too is Dennis Wise vital to Millwall's strategy, such a spiky influence, and great news for them, he's come through that late fitness test and plays. The absence of Danny Di Chio through suspension is a big loss for them though. Lone striker Neil Harris now carries Millwall's main threat up front, but with Paul Ifill and dynamic Australian Tim Cahill, the chief support coming through.
Yes, certainly, and you look at Livermore and Wise are the holding players in midfield. They're going to be very, very important to Millwall. It'll allow Sweeney, it'll allow Paul Ifill to get forward. He's scored 6 or 7 goals this year already, I think. Tim Cahill is their top goal scorer. He'll support Neil Harris, and what a fantastic day for Neil Harris. All the problems he's had in his career, and here he is playing the Wembley Cup final. Great day for all of them, but I bet it's going to be one heck of a battle to start off with.
Well, seeing off the likes of Van Nistelrooy, Giggs, Ronaldo, Scholes will be tough enough for Millwall, and even if they do succeed, United still have Anagula Solskjaer on the bench along with Nicky Butler, Jemba. What a contrast. Millwall starts include, well, youngsters really, including striker Mark McCammon. Here's Jeff Winter here in his final game then as a senior referee after 18 years on the national list. Well, there we are, that's the bonding, maybe the Wimbledon spirit coming to the fore again. Dennis Wise will be very keen to engender that again.
Yes, it was Dennis Wise that pulled them all together. There's a few last words from Dennis. I'm sure part of that will be enjoy the day. How many times you get to FA Cup final, especially if you're playing for Millwall. So go out and enjoy it. Compete, make it difficult for Man United. Try to stop them playing the fluent football they like to, and who knows.
Well, the Millwall fans are certainly here to enjoy the day, and one banner I think summed it up over on the far side there. It said prawn sandwiches 0, jelly deals 1. That's their prediction. Ruud van Nistelrooy, who's been so prolific in the FA Cup, 10 goals so far in a United jersey since he's come to Old Trafford. 5 doubles, in fact. He's got 2 twos in the FA Cup run to this year's final. Princes against Paupers. It will be Millwall to get us underway in their all-blue strip with the white sleeves. Neil Harris, who will then be the one outright striker. Dennis Wise very keen to get in on the action. And I think his first tackle, Ray, could be very interesting.
I think there'll be a few tackles in this first 20 minutes because, as I say, Millwall really know in their heart of hearts they're not going to outplay Manchester United, but if they can get in and around them, upset their rhythm, then who knows?
Here's Livermore. He'll be one of the 2 holding players in midfield, along with Dennis Wise. Now Robbie Ryan. This, we believe, is to be his last game for the club. He's out of contract and has rejected the offer of a new 1-year deal. But of course he's very much in the shop window this afternoon around the world. Mikhail Silvestre. And then to Roy Keane, who himself had been an injury doubt in the early part of the week. He's not played too much, certainly, since the semi-final. Here's 19-year-old Peter Sweeney. Darren Ward will be in tandem with the skipper Lawrence at the back in central defence. Can they keep a tight rein on the likes of Van Nistelrooy and Ronaldo and Scholes?
To be fair to Millwall, they've started off. They haven't panicked. They've strung 5 or 6 passes together. They've stroked it around. They haven't just got it forward. I mean, to be fair to Dennis Wise, that's the way him and Ray Wilkins have wanted them to play all year. But to come out in a big game like this and to start stroking it around this first couple of minutes shows that they are in charge of their nerves. They are in control of themselves, and it's a promising start for Millwall.
Here's Ronaldo. Really has been bubbly of late, so sparkling down the flanks. Ray Wilkins, who of course will be a commander-in-chief on the sidelines, in conversation there with Kevin Muscat. They'll miss Muscat too, won't they, with his experience?
Well, they will. Obviously, Kevin Muscat's played in big games as an international player, as a competitive player, as many people have found out to their cost over the years. So certainly he will be missed, but I'm sure he'll be a big help on that touchline in the dressing room.
Ronaldo with those trickling feet. Now Gary Neville, playing in his 4th FA Cup final. Well, the tackle was just mid-time then by David Livermore.
I think he missed with the first tackle here, but I think he got him with a second. Didn't catch him with that, but got him with the trailing leg. So yes, quite right there for him.
Well, he's a very strong tackling player, is David Livermore. Began life at Arsenal and Highbury, didn't make the breakthrough with them. But, well, here he is now in the cup final with Millwall. Giggs and Scholes. I've seen this one before, you know. That is not the accident, it may look. Here's John O'Shea. But Millwall kept their composure, kept their guard at the back. Now Sylvestre, playing alongside Wes Brown, with O'Shea on the left and Gary Neville at right back. Here's Fletcher. I think he revels in this midfield role, the central role that he's got this afternoon, which is always the cue for a mistake.
I think the other good thing that Millwall have done in these opening minutes is that they haven't gone gung-ho trying to chase and win the ball in Manchester United's half. When Manchester United have got possession of the ball, they've just dropped back into their set positions. They've got those 5 players across the middle, and they've made it difficult for United to break them down.
It was a biting challenge then, though, by Roy Keane. Here's Ronaldo. Dangerous ball swung in as well for Van Nistelrooy. Wasn't far away. United slipping quickly into gear.
Yes, there's a good ball in here from Ronaldo, and Van Nistelrooy just gets in front of Matt Lawrence there. He's going to have to be quicker than that, because don't give Van Nistelrooy too many chances like that, because he doesn't miss the target very often. But certainly there, got in front of Matt Lawrence, good headed, but just wide.
Well, Ray Wilkins was saying beforehand, the key really is retention of the ball for Millwall. They can't give it away too cheaply, or they really will be punished. Obviously United superior in terms of class and quality, but boy, this Millwall team will fight and show their commitment, show their teeth. Albeit against a wounded tiger really at Manchester United, after their failures in the Champions League and in the title race. Dennis Wise will take this free kick. Rather a cheap one though. Here's Giggs on the rebound, finding Van Nistelrooy. Well, the pitch is in immaculate condition, but maybe just a little greasy on top. As Van Nistelrooy will confirm. Here's Neil Harris, the player who's made such an amazing recovery from serious illness to rebuild his career. A lot on his shoulders though today, without Dicchio up front. Here's Darren Fletcher, the young Scottish international. Now Ronaldo. So full of tricks, so much sorcery from him on the flank, but a little more selective these days. A bit less of a show pony, more of a thoroughbred. So foul by, I feel, on O'Shea. quite sure why.
He's a little bit unfortunate there because his foot was high, but he made contact with the ball. To be fair, O'Shea had his foot up as well. So it was 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Up comes Gary Neville. The kick with Fletcher. Now Ronaldo. Here's Brown playing in his first major final. And having had, of course, such a nightmare time of late with injuries. Here's Scholes, a real danger. Now Fletcher. United prepared to be patient. Keane to Fletcher again. Should be right. Well, goal kick anyway. So they kept their shape there, Millwall. Everybody back via Harris really behind the ball.
Well, that's what they've got to do. They've just got to try and fill those midfield areas and stop United playing through them. And eventually there, Darren Fletcher got frustrated, tried the ball inside the fullback from Ronaldo, but unfortunately he didn't read the ball that was going through. And Roy Keane gave Fletcher a little telling off, saying, be patient, try and drag them out of positions and the openings will occur for us.
For Sir Alex Ferguson, losing today is simply not an option. Already a record 4 times a winner. Here's Keane. Very much the fulcrum in midfield. John O'Shea. Another featuring in this game for the first time. Keane to Neville. 2 players with rather more experience. Here's Scholes. Well, as we anticipated, nearly all United possession. Well, that is a trip, surely, is it? No, Jeff Winter says play on. Fletcher, now then to Ronaldo. 3 in the middle for United, including Van Nistelrooy. Oh, so neatly done then. And in goes Scholes. Well, if anything, it was a missed kick then from the England man. Now it's O'Shea. But such impudence, such improvisation then from Ronaldo. And Millwall were nearly undone.
Well, they were when Ronaldo crossed that ball in with that fancy footwork over on that far touchline. I think to myself, Alex Ferguson won't be too happy with that. But all of a sudden a chance did occur for Scholes at the far post and he just totally missed his kick.
Scholes, who has scored 4 times in the FA Cup so far this season. By his very high standards, that will certainly go down as a miss. You could do with a goal or 2 from him for England, couldn't you, in Euro 2004? He's not scored for nearly 3 years now for his country.
That's right. It would be nice for him to get himself a goal or 2 goals today to boost his confidence with what's coming up.
There's Marvin Elliott just playing it back to Andy Marshall. Elliott, who is not really a right back, but without Muscott, without Andy Roberts, who's also on the sidelines. Well, that's his role today, rather than in midfield. Fletcher on to Scholes. United didn't full flow, but again, a weak finish from Scholes.
Yeah, Scholes is frustrated. You know, he didn't catch that right, and he knew also that Giggs was on his left-hand side. With probably a simpler pass would have put Giggs right into the penalty area. And as soon as he hit it, he apologised to Giggs for not giving him the ball. But that was just a little bit of frustration from him, maybe because he hasn't scored for so long. Here's the opportunity for Scholes at the far post. What about that for a bit of skill? Lovely flick on by Giggs, and a total missed kick by Scholes. I'm sure you can't believe that.
The individual skill then of Ronaldo, so much to admire, but not so the finishing of Scholes, who's lucky to be playing in this game. If you remember, he just about escaped a sending off in a league match against Chelsea recently, and he'd been dismissed. He wouldn't have played in this match. Offside here, Harris.
Yes, no dispute that.
It's going to be tough for him,
just
isn't it?
Warned him there, to be fair. Yeah, Neil, Jeff Winter just warned Harris there, having that shot. Next time you do that, I'll book you.
Yes, Ronaldo in the last league game against Villa was actually sent off, and he collected a second yellow, wasn't he, for kicking the ball away in that fashion. Sensible refereeing, though, really, by Jeff Winter, I think. Maybe taking the occasion into account. Here's Ryan. Says he's only got one plan to deal with Ronaldo. No plan B. If I can kick him I will. How do you stop Ronaldo? That's the quiz question for Robbie Ryan, the Irish left back for Millwall.
Well, I think Robbie Ryan has dealt with every wide man the same all year, and he won't change that today.
They've had a few uncompromising left backs at Millwall down the years. Harry Cripps, I remember, back in the 60s. He was probably the most feared of the lot. Here's Scholes now, on to Keane. Now then to Fletcher, seeing plenty of the ball early on. Ryan Giggs, back in his hometown today. And Ifield kept his cool, and it will be a goal kick and respite for Millwall.
No, he did well there, following the run of O'Shea.
Here's that chance again that almost came the way of Harrison. In fairness to him, he's onside there, look, when it's played through.
Yes, Wes Brown trying to step up, and he was late. To be fair, he was late, but the linesman on this near side decided that it was offside, but certainly the pictures there show that he was level.
He's got a useful goal-scoring record too, as Neil Harris. He's got 10 this season. Of course, his career was interrupted by testicular cancer. Here's Gary Neville with a throw then for United, seeking their foothold in this FA Cup final. It was awkward then for O'Shea, a little careless from Wes Brown. Not quite back to his sharpest yet, Brown, but certainly signs that he's on the way in the last few league games after a pretty torrid start when he first returned to the team after injury. Just missed out, of course, on Euro 2004 with England. Elliott to Wise. Now Harris. Well, they will have to support him as much as they can. Just hope they can sneak a goal, Millwall. Roy Keane. The first man in the modern day to play in 6 FA Cup finals. What an inspiration he has been to Manchester United. Ronaldo to Fletcher. Cleared away by Matt Lawrence. Now Giggs. Ronaldo just teasing Lawrence, who stood his ground well though. How his season has been transformed. Matt Lawrence early on under Mark McGee, the previous manager. He was out of favour and virtually told to find a new club. Here he is now, skippering the team in Cardiff. Keane with a glorious ball then for Giggs. It could be in here. Oh, if Marshall had got that wrong then.
Well, to be fair to Andy Marshall there, he did very, very well in the end, because when that ball was played in, he made his mind up to come for it, and it was never his ball. Giggs was always going to be first to it, and he's just drawn his hands away there as he went to commit at Giggs' feet. And in the end, it was good goalkeeping, but his first decision, he was never ever going to get there. But you see him there, just take his hands away, so he can't make any contact with Giggs, otherwise it's a penalty.
Well, it was a real scare then for Millwall and for Andy Marshall, a player they signed recently from Ipswich Town after a loan spell. Coming in as cover for Tony Warner, the man who, along with Kevin Muscat, led the team out today. Warner still injured, and Willie Gure, the man from Guadeloupe, is the substitute goalkeeper. Neville's long ball. Is it too long for Van Nistelrooy? Only just. Some alert defending then by Lawrence. Livermore to Dennis Wise. Elliott to Cahill. He can be very much the danger man for Millwall if they can get him into threatening situations.
Well, he's the one more than anybody else who's got to get up and support Neil Harris whenever he can. But of course, for him to do that, Millwall needs to string a number of passes together to allow him to get forward. If they keep playing it from long distances from the back four, the distances are too big for Cahill to get up and support Harris.
Rash challenge then by Paul Scholes. Lashing out at Lawrence, who will take this free kick himself. Bit of frustration shown then by Scholes. So far so good for Millwall with 15 minutes gone. Was Keane back defending. Goes Ifield, who's pretty nippy, pretty quick down this right side, but now he'll have to come tracking back. Scholes. The challenge again by Lawrence. The two Trent centre-halves were outstanding in the semi-final. The win over Sunderland really paved the way for their victory. In the end, they're placed in the final, earned through a goal from Tim Cahill. He does make a lot of well-timed runs through from midfield. Huge interest, I'm sure, back home in Australia for him. Indeed, many of his family and friends have been flown over at his expense, I gather, to be here in Cardiff today. Ronaldo. Now Sylvestre. Get Millwall just happy to sit back, hope to soak it up. O'Shea venturing a long way, Van Nistelrooy. The two centre-halves were tight on him. Scholes still got his shot away, but the deflection took the sting out of it. I mean, Wise and Wilkins have them well organised, right?
Yes, they certainly do, and it was little Dennis Wise who actually got that block in as Scholes came charging in to deliver a shot. And Scholes managed to get his body in the way of it and take all the pace off it and made it comfortable for Andy Marshall to deal with.
In goes Keane. Fairly lusty challenge there on Tim Cahill. Sweeney taking the kick quickly. Now can they build something here? Harris is in the middle, so is Ifield. And Sylvestre just got his foot to the ball in time. But who's back there to mop up? Roy Keane.
Well, Neil Harris was very unlucky then, because Cahill got that space on the left-hand side, and when he delivered the ball, Neil Harris just slipped as he went to try and get in front of Sylvestre.
Now Ronaldo. Oh, wonderful stuff from the Portuguese young international. Free kick in the end. He's almost taking the mickey then.
Well, he was, and certainly Dennis Wise was having none of it. And I thought we'd done very well to get to 18 minutes without a real crunching tackle going in. And that was the first one. As soon as Ronaldo tried his tricks there, the next thing that came in was two crunching tackles, one of them from Dennis Wise. And all of a sudden we had the first situation where there was a sign of trouble, and Jeff Winter now talking to the two people concerned. Fletcher ran from 20 yards to push him in the back for no apparent reason whatsoever. That was silly, and I think Gary Neville's now telling the young lad, you need to calm down, because you've got to expect playing against Dennis Wise, he's going to put two tackles in you're going to feel. Sir
Alec Ferguson once said he'd start a fight in an empty house, wouldn't he, Dennis Wise? He's that sort of character.
Attention please.
Well, it's certainly not empty in this stadium today.
Please sit down as much as possible. Think of the people behind you. Appreciate it.
Such a fiery customer, Wise, now organising his troops defensively, hoping they can get it right here. Ryan Giggs hovering over the ball. There is Ronaldo. Sylvestre came hurrying at the last moment there and might have got a decisive touch too. Ronaldo, who the manager feels will go on to be a United legend.
Well, he struck it hard enough, and I thought initially that Phil Sylvestre, if he'd have thrown himself, might have got a touch, but when you see the replay, no, he's far too far away. Ronaldo hasn't struck it as much as he'd like to, and I'm sure if that had been on the goal, Marshall would have saved it anyway.
He's not short on confidence, is he, Ronaldo? But his form has really lifted throughout this season as he's found his feet in the English Premiership. No wonder he's so highly rated. Huge, huge prospect. Here's one of the old guard, Ryan Giggs. Giggs again. Just cleared away at the last moment then by Livermore. Worrying moment for Millwall. No breakthroughs yet for United.
Delightful play there by Fletcher though, wasn't it? A good ball in, but Livermore doing his job as a holding midfield player, getting back in there and helping the back four, and managed to get the clearance in.
Ronaldo's corner. O'Shea has just arrived in the middle. Van Nistelrooy making a nuisance of himself in the 6-yard box. A little spat there with Andy Marshall. Lawrence & Co keeping a really watchful eye on Van Nistelrooy. The first corner of the afternoon, the first corner of this FA Cup final. Was O'Shea on that near post, but the whistle's gone in Millwall's favour.
Yeah, quite right as well. Van Nistelrooy's job there was obviously to stop Andy Marshall coming out to try and attack the cross. And Matt Lawrence did that. And you can see here, once the corner kick is taken, he just backs. There's all the movement beforehand. That was the trouble before. But when the actual cross comes in, there he goes, steps into him, pushes him back towards the goal, and that's where the free kick's given.
So the Londoners surviving thus far. To the frustration of Van Nistelrooy & Co. Such a big day for Millwall, a club who've been dragged down by a poor image in the past, but working really hard to attract the right kind of headlines. Well, they have this time in reaching this cup final, the first in their 119-year history. And so far, albeit mainly on the back foot, keeping Manchester United no less at bay. Here's Keane. On then to Scholes. Now Ryan Giggs. Young Elliott put himself in a bit of a tangle then. Here's O'Shea. Fletcher letting it run on to Keane, who's teed it up beautifully. But a fantastic save by Marshall. Really at full stretch then, just to flip it over the bar.
That was a great save, because when Keane hits it here, it's dipping all the way. It's going over the back of Marshall, and somehow, not only does he get up, but stretches back and just gets his fingers. He just arches that body backwards and just gets the faintest of touches. Backs it over. Marvellous save by Andy Marshall there.
Well, such an instinctive strike by Roy Keane. It seemed to be heading for the top corner, and surely it would have done so, but for Marshall's wonderful intervention. That was Cahill climbing high. Giggs to whip it back in again dangerously. Now here's Keane. Ronaldo. Away from Sweeney. Well, they doubled up on him in the end. Guess who's in the thick of the action? Dennis Wise.
Yes, and he wasn't following anything that Ronaldo was doing there. He was stepping over the ball, but Dennis just kept his eye on the ball and just shielded it out there for the corner kick.
His footwork is mesmerising though. Cristiano Ronaldo, only 19. Just think what he can go on to achieve. The likes of Neil Harris here, well, they don't just want to come here for the day out. Dennis Wise wouldn't stand for that. They are determined to do themselves justice. So far, they're doing so. Here is Harris. He really is a hard grafter. So too, of course, is Scholes, although he's been penalised here by Jeff Winter.
Now, I'm sure if somebody said to Dennis Wise before the game, you'll get to 23, 24 minutes and the score's still 0-0, and you've really only allowed Manchester United to have a couple of clear-cut opportunities. I mean, here we see the volley again. It's delightful skill. He just tees it up for himself there, and that's right in the top corner. That's a top quality save. But from Dennis's point of view and the team's point of view and the supporters' point of view, it's satisfactory so far.
Up goes Ward. Composed defending though by Mikhail Silvestre. Very much a fixture now for his country, France, as well as for Manchester United. Darren Ward on his way back. Now Livermore. Asking a lot of Sweeney down that left side. Sweeney, a 19-year-old. Here's Robbie Ryan. Sweeney again. He's got a decent left foot, this young fellow. Now Harris. Trying to fend off Wes Brown. Sweeney's right foot ball hit towards Eiffel. It's their best moment so far.
Well, they were very patient, weren't they? They didn't panic. They worked the opportunity when the ball's come in there. There's a loud shout from our left-hand side for a penalty, but Silvestre definitely makes contact with the ball first. But good play by Millwall.
Certainly encouragement for them and for their travelling fans here in the Millennium Stadium. Wise has gone across, wanting to take on the responsibility, wanting to take charge. Now Sweeney. Oh, was there an offside flag? No, it stayed down. Oh, a shot set for Cahill. A bit of a scare then for Manchester United.
That's an opportunity, and Cahill knows it. It's a delightful ball in there. Howard's flapping at it, just makes contact, but certainly it's half a chance there for Cahill. He'll be disappointed he didn't make better contact with that.
Worryingly for Sir Alex Ferguson, United defenders just stood around and watched.
Well, I was amazed. The two of them come over for a short corner kick, and they only sent one player out. They've got Van Nistelrooy back now to help out, but the corner previously they had two out, and United only sent the one player to try and defend against them.
Tim Cahill, who was really useful in the air, and a chest here for Tim Howard. He's up for the chance this time. I think to be the first American to win the FA Cup. Robbie Ryan. Millwall visibly lifted. Here's Eiffel. Fletcher making sure he made no real progress, but here's Harris. Millwall buoyant, their tails are up. After a period of having really to defend, suddenly Ray Wilkins' team were positive and offensive. They have a game plan. He doesn't care what it is as long as they win. Van Nistelrooy outsmarted though by Lawrence. Lawrence was a fullback under Mark McGee, the last manager. In came Dennis Rice and converted him to a centre half. Typically a cat-wreck tackle then from Wise. Livermore's no slouch either. Now Ronaldo. Darren Ward just about coped with that. Aided by Ryan, and before that Livermore, who's on the ball now. Millwall defending doggedly.
Well, that shows the confidence that's grown in them. You know, they're in their own corner there. They're 5 or 6 yards from the goal line. They don't just boot it aimlessly. They actually try and play out the situation with 2 or 3 passes to create a bit of time to be a bit more constructive.
Well, it hasn't been a vintage season by any means for Manchester United, but they dare not risk not winning this final. No foregone conclusion so far. Paul Eiffel. Sweeney. He'll be off for the Scottish under-21s after this final. He hopes for some happy memories. Tim Cahill. He now, of course, is a full Australian international. After FIFA gave him clearance, he played for the Western Samoa team as a junior. It's only recently that he has got that clearance to play for the country he was born in. Gary Neville. In the bright sunshine of Cardiff, seeking out Van Nistelrooy. So too, though, was Darren Ward, Millwall's Player of the Year. Livermore. Did well then too. Locating Harris, here's Dennis Wise. Now O'Shea onto Mikhail Silvestre. Nothing really down the left ahead of him. Giggs had drifted infield, here he is now. Flicked on by Van Nistelrooy, beyond Scholes. I think Ryan just lost his bearing for a moment. It's Ronaldo, but into the side netting. Just wavering there a little though, Millwall.
Well, Dennis Wise is having to go Andy Marshall quite rightly here. The ball's knocked in, and when the ball's flicked up, Robbie Ryan, the keeper starts to come. Robbie Ryan expects him to come, must have shouted, stop playing, and all of a sudden, United have a chance, and certainly Dennis Wise had a quiet word, well, I'm not sure it was a quiet word, but certainly had a word with Andy Marshall about you've got to come and be dominant and deal with those situations.
No, Dennis doesn't do quiet.
No, I think not.
He's always the noisiest in the dressing room. And he will not curb his enthusiasm one iota. They're up for this game and they're doing okay. Nobody loves us is their motto, but we're in the final, so we don't care. Here's Roy Keane. Now then to Gary Neville. Van Nistelrooy. Ryan's boot was a little high then on Ronaldo. Livermore. Well, the previous pattern has been restored now. United dominating. But so far, Millwall not trouble all that often. Certainly they had that glorious effort from Roy Keane that very nearly produced the opener. O'Shea to Van Nistelrooy. Ward was tight on it, but here's Scholes now. Releasing Giggs. And some excellent defending to eradicate the problem there from young Marvin Elliott.
Yes, he's going to have his hands full this afternoon, Marvin Elliott, but he did well, got his body in the way, stopped Giggsy getting the cross in, and it was just before that, I think Van Nistelrooy took some sort of blow which put him on his back.
Ronaldo, headed out by Elliott, not too far though, it was Scholes. Not one of his better efforts. His finishing so far has been rather wayward.
No, I would think that Sir Alex would be disappointed in the number of set play situations they've had at the moment, and they've delivered 4 balls into the box. They've hit the first man every single time, and they've relied on them getting shots from the edge of the box, which so far have not been successful for them. But certainly the delivery of the ball from set plays has not been good by United standards so far.
Scholes so keen to impress today. He missed out on the '99 Champions League final and was aghast to learn that he very nearly missed his final had he been sent off in the game against Chelsea. Sir Alex Ferguson actually came to his rescue by taking him off, substituting him. Certainly in danger of receiving a second yellow the way he was playing. Roy Keane. Now it's Scholes. Wanting some movement around him, it's Fletcher here. And to Ronaldo, who has a free roll by the looks of things. Maybe not for long.
Now, I mean, that, to be fair to Millwall, that is a definite sign of frustration. Sir Alex doesn't look very happy there with Walter Smith at this moment in time. Ronaldo, there were other options on, but went for glory and was way wide with his shots, and it was a very poor effort. But that tends to happen when sides are getting frustrated and are not making clear-cut opportunities.
Ronaldo hasn't looked across at the bench, but he has gone back to the right wing. So I don't think he dared to incur the wrath of the referee there by engaging in any dialect with him.
I would have thought the right wing was the last place he needed to go to. That's by Sir Alex.
Free kick here to Millwall. We've got an idiot on the pitch at the other end. You won't be seeing him, I hope. And he won't be seeing the rest of the game. Actually struggling to keep him down. It's not Dennis Wise. No, it's not. Out of your picture at the moment. Jeff Winter is trying to get the game restarted, but it's taken about 3 stewards to keep this idiot in check. Ifill. Plenty to aim for in the middle. And Brown, well aware, I'm sure, there of the presence of Sweeney, just letting it run out for a goal kick.
Well, when that ball was delivered in, I'm not sure if Cahill, who was behind Harris, might have had a better opportunity. It was Neil Harris that just got the little flick on. But again, the ball into the box hasn't created a clear opportunity for Millwall, but United have not cleared it comfortably.
Fletcher. Now then Ronaldo. John O'Shea down this United left. Ronaldo has gone sprinting ahead of him. It's Giggs here. Giggs, who I'm sure would have captained United today had Keane not played. Oh, a loose piece of defending then by Ryan, but he's got away with it. Helped by Lawrence. Very strong at the back so far in tandem with Ward. Ryan Giggs. His 5th FA Cup final. Not put through then by Ronaldo. Here's Harris. Now Dennis Wise. The old chap, as Ray Wilkins calls him. Calls himself Mr. Misery. Fletcher. Being put under pressure then by Cahill. Typical Australian, he's abrasive and aggressive, Tim Cahill. Certainly deadly in the air if they can find him on some of these crosses. Neville. Dispossessed by Cahill. It will be a Millwall throw too. Cahill, who came to England as a 16-year-old from Sydney in Australia to make a name for himself in England. Well, he's doing so now. His parents had to take out a loan to find the airfare for him. Well, he's repaid them. No question about that. Now, Eiffel on a run. Harris is in the centre. Sweeney's in there too. Still Eiffel, who has an eye for goal. He's got 9 this season. Now Scholes on to Giggs. Certainly not the one-way contest we anticipated, Ray.
No, it's not. And as I say, you can see those little signs of frustration, misplaced passes there, misunderstanding between players. 1 or 2 little opportunities. Eiffel breaking through here. He's got a goal-scoring record, and all he can see now is, can I strike that across Tim Howard? Well, they get a good block in, but just 1 or 2 little chinks of light for Millwall at the moment. And certainly the more frustrated United get, the bigger the chinks will get.
And his contribution will certainly be a talking point in Barbados. Paul Eiffel, he's just been called up by them for their international team. Gary Neville. And it was casual then from Neville of all people. Just kept it by Elliott, but no more than that. Sylvestre to John O'Shea. Now Fletcher. Did well then to work it on to Keane. Gary Neville to Giggs. Just couldn't quite thread it on, but it's Fletcher in possession for United. Now going to get his cross away here. No, but it is a corner. Certainly in their last league game, the manager felt they were much more like the old United, but they haven't quite brought that kind of form into the final yet. Ryan Giggs with this corner kick. They're shooting it on corners, but they haven't got a goal to show for it yet. Fletcher to Neville. O'Shea has stayed up, and Sylvestre. Here's Keane. Didn't fall though for Sylvestre, but no one upfield for Millwall. No matter, United have been repelled. That's the game plan, and just hope they can catch them on the break. They have had their moments so far of Millwall. Mikael Sylvestre to Scholes. Clever little ball that to Giggs. Almost linked up with Van Nistelrooy. Ball becomes Lawrence. And some sturdy defending by him. Just around about the same time last year that Arsenal went in front against Southampton through Robert Pires. Can United now emulate that feat? Here's Darren Fletcher. Get faced by a packed Millwall side though. Cahill trying to set something up on the counter. Not this time. Here's Brown to Fletcher. Now Keane, who's been saying this week he thinks Fletcher can go on to the very top of the game. Really rates him as a young player. Giggs, he's done it all. Seen it all, worn the t-shirt. But out comes Dennis Wise, who's been around even longer. 37 now, the player manager. Keane. On to Fletcher, maybe some room to manoeuvre in here. Good delivery for Ronaldo. Easton finding him anyway. Some of United's passing not as cohesive or as slick as it normally is. Now pretty much unoccupied so far, just the odd moment he's been called upon. But Millwall won't mind that. Not while it stays like this. Roy Keane to Neville. Van Nistelrooy is the target. Difficult ball for him to deal with, but in goes Ronaldo. Surely this time off the line from Darren Ward. Heroic defending by him. Marshall was beaten.
Great clearance there. What a good defending that was. The opportunity comes this. Van Nistelrooy does well to flick it on, catches Elliott out. Ronaldo gets the shot in. Marshall gets a half clearance, but
now it's Scholes. Oh, very, very close. Certainly nearer than some of his earlier efforts. Well, Marshall so relieved though to see Darren Ward and his awareness behind him saving the day.
Yeah, he just managed to take the pace off it enough there to allow Darren Ward to make the clearance, but it was still great defending to cover behind Marshall and help him to make the save.
Well, they work so hard on team spirit to Millwall. There's plenty of that in this side. Dennis Wise at the moment is cajoling those around him, having a chat with Tim Cahill. While Sir Alex Ferguson can only look on and wonder just when his team can break through, or indeed if they're going to. Gary Neville. Here's Keane, as ever, directing the traffic towards that Millwall goal. Van Nistelrooy. Goals this season, Van Nistelrooy. Not a sniff so far though in this one. O'Shea on to Fletcher. There was very little room for error from Lawrence. United felt he did mistime that tackle, but Jeff Winter didn't think so.
Well, you always take a chance when he goes to ground in those situations, and certainly he did take a chance, but he's got away with it.
Fletcher to Giggs. Now he's got the pace here to get away from Harris. Now it's Keane, and then Neville on the overlap. Danger looming here, surely in goes Ronaldo! And United lead. They've been hammering on the door. And relief for Sir Alex Ferguson. They have the first goal.
Well, what a time for them to score, 2 minutes before half-time. It really was. Millwall have done so well, but on this occasion they were outnumbered. Just watch Gary Neville coming into the picture down that far side. Bags the room, nobody can get out to him quick enough. Quality ball in there, and Ronaldo comes in. Eiffel hadn't picked him up, he got in front of him and had a free header, and having just had the chance before, he wasn't going to miss this one. But it was a delightful ball hit by Gary Neville here, who had sneaked up on that far side, and there's Ronaldo coming in. 1-0.
Well, he has already produced some magical moments in this first half, Ronaldo. That's the best of them in terms of what it means to Manchester United and to Sir Alex Ferguson. The goal coming in the 44th minute. Gary Neville had far too much space down the right. He exploited it, and there was Ronaldo with the finish. Wise and Scholes have clashed in the centre of midfield. Here's Giggs racing away. The tackle was from Wise. Cahill. There'll be 1 more minute of added time. Phil couldn't get away from O'Shea. Suddenly it's a different story. Suddenly the United fans are in great voice. I wouldn't say those following Millwall are subdued. I don't think anything will subdue them. Certainly quieter though. Harris. What they wouldn't give now for a response here before half-time, Millwall. Ronaldo's 6th goal of the season. And he has been a threat, no question about it, to Millwall during this first 45 minutes, as he's underlined with his goal. Van Nistelrooy. Now Scholes. Ronaldo calling for it over on the far side. Here is Ronaldo. Sweeney chasing back, and he just clipped him there. United's free kick right at the end of the first half, if there's time. Just about. Just a little ticking off there for Sweeney from referee Winter. I think has refereed this game sensibly so far. Determined to go out on a higher, why not? One of our better officials, for my money. Can't understand why he has to be retired off early. Scholes and Wise could not get any closer. You swap shirts after the game. They've had a few scuffles down the years. Well, who's pulling who? Any clues, Ray?
I think on that occasion certainly it was Dennis having a go at Scholesy there, and Scholesy didn't have any hesitation to go down, so it'll be very interesting now. This is obviously the last warning for the two of them here now.
They'd be well advised to keep clear of each other, but it won't happen. Ryan Giggs. Mayhem in the box. I think that's a wise decision by Jeff Winter to blow for half-time.
I think that was a very wise decision, but Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins will be disappointed, because Millwall for 43, 44 minutes did extremely well there, frustrated United. They only had 2 or 3 opportunities in that first half, but then one slack piece of marking and all of a sudden they're 1-0 down, and now they do have a mountain to climb, because once United get in front, you just wonder where Millwall can score from.
Well, it's his goal that divides the two teams at half-time in the FA Cup final, set up by Gary Neville down that right side. They hadn't really tracked back with it, Millwall. And, well, he finished it very cleanly. It was too strong then for Marshall's left hand. So there we are. Manchester United are in front at half-time, but Millwall have done OK so far and are certainly not out of this cup final yet. But at half-time, it's Manchester United 1, Millwall 0. So United ahead at the halfway stage, thanks to this young man, Cristiano Ronaldo. 10 times the FA Cup winners, United equaling Arsenal's record set last year by featuring today in their 16th final. Going just about to plan at the moment, but Millwall by no means out of it, and they will take encouragement, I think, from their showing, Ray Clements, in that first 45 minutes.
Well, they will, certainly, from the way they defended and the shape that they kept throughout that first half. It was only really exposed on one occasion, which cost them. The problem they've got now is obviously they are 1-0 down now, and they're going to have to get forward and get some opportunities against Manchester United. And in the first half, they weren't allowed to do that, so they've got to get their team higher up the pitch to create opportunities.
No substitutes for either team, and here is Ronaldo, linking with captain Roy Keane. O'Shea. Van Nistelrooy ahead of him. I think O'Shea thought then that Ryan Giggs was further forward. Now time for Wes Brown. Just 1 or 2 occasions when he was certainly extended in the first half, along with Sylvestre at that central defence for United, but now it's Fletcher tearing at the heart of Millwall. He's gone all the way too, and just couldn't steer it past Andy Marshall. And a fantastic run then by Fletcher. Deserved better in the end.
Well, Fletcher's very, very highly rated there at Manchester United. As you say, he appears to revel in that central midfield position. He goes past 4 players there onto slightly weaker left side, but was unprepared to hit it with his left foot. Tried with the outside of the right, and therefore not enough power to cause Andy Marshall a problem.
Fletcher, who has never scored for Manchester United. Up by Neville to Scholes. Bright start to the second period, though, by the overwhelming favourites. Ronaldo asking a lot of Fletcher. Now it's Sweeney. Good closing down by Ronaldo. And then a trip by Van Nistelrooy on Elliott. As I was saying earlier, he's not normally right back for Millwall. He more often operates in midfield. He really has got his hands full with Giggs and with Ronaldo coming at him.
And I think that's shown even in the first half. There's been a couple of occasions when he's been caught ball watching and people have got inside him. He's an athlete, he gets up and down the field, he's powerful for one so young, but defensively, yes, he has been exposed a couple of occasions.
Cahill trying desperately there to pierce that United defence. Way by Sylvestre. Now it's Keane. Gary Neville. Keane again, always demanding possession. Scholes to Giggs.
I think Dennis Wise could finish up the booking here because his foot was high, he brought it down. I think he caught on the top of Ryan Giggs' knee there, and I think the referee's now lost his patience. There you see it, as it comes down, I think he catches Ryan Giggs on the top of his left leg there, and Jeff Winters had enough now. He's had to say to Dennis, I've been patient with you on a couple of occasions, but you have to take the yellow card.
Well, he won't be United's favourite player, will he, Dennis Wise? All the altercations he's had with them down the years. This was certainly painful for Ryan Giggs. The challenge was loose. Bit naughty that from Dennis Wise. Player who has been red carded 13 times in his career. Beating your record, Ray, by 13.
Yes, just. Come close a couple of occasions, but...
Well, Giggs still very much an important player for United, of course, for those mazy runs. Hoping along with Keane to join Mark Hughes on the tally of 4 FA Cup final wins. Mark Giggs a little ruefully, going off maybe to receive some further treatment, maybe just to return straight away. Looking daggers in the general direction of Dennis Wise. Not the first player to do that. Here's Sylvestre. Now Ronaldo. Really has tormented Millwall at times. But it's Livermore on the break. Played it for Harris, little sloppy. He gave Sylvestre the chance to tidy up. Harris, who's actually closing in on Millwall's goal-scoring record, held by Teddy Sheringham. He played for them both, of course, Sheringham, United as well as Millwall. Ryan Giggs. Skipping away from Livermore. Now servicing Keane. Neville. Ronaldo with plenty to aim for in the middle. If he ever gets there, still Ronaldo. It's Gary Neville, who actually has scored a couple of goals at the back end of the season in the Premiership.
I don't think they were with his left foot though, were they? He's a difficult player to play against. He's got such quick feet, he keeps stepping over the ball, and young Phil Sweeney eventually falls for it and then gets that ball in, and they managed to clear it. Thankfully, it fell to Gary Neville's left foot and not his right.
Well, they have been working very hard at Old Trafford to maybe get him to cut down the step-overs, Ronaldo. And he's got better and better and better as the season has gone on. Harris, now led to Eiffel. Dodgy moment then for Manchester United and for John O'Shea. And it will be a throw to the Reds. Much to the anguish of Eiffel and those Millwall fans over on that far side. Some 21,000 of them here today. Didn't see them all at the last league game though, Ray.
No, they've certainly made themselves heard though, because until United scored, certainly it was the Millwall fans you could hear all the first half, and there was hardly a murmur from the United fans, but it's a little bit different now.
They're so determined to do themselves justice, Millwall, and they are doing that. Ray Wilkins, his underdogs have been unleashed. And they would find it particularly galling, wouldn't they, having missed out on the promotion playoffs. They then didn't do themselves justice in this final. It was certainly a distraction for them. They'd lost only one of 17 games before the semi-final, but then won only one of the 8 remaining matches, and that was on the final day against relegated Bradford. Neville. Here's O'Shea. United, though, will feel they have a grip now. They have a breakthrough. Ryan Giggs on to O'Shea. There's Cahill with a challenge. The fall though for Fletcher, and then Keane and Scholes. Good save! Brilliant stop by Marshall, keeping his team in this cup final.
Yeah, delightful build-up play though, wasn't it? Fletcher, Keane and Scholes just gets it out of his feet. That's in that bottom left-hand corner, and he just gets that little bit of luck all goalkeepers need. Doesn't see this till late, goes round the defender, gets the save, and then one of his defenders bails him out.
Well, kicking his heels really at Ipswich, Andy Marshall, brought on loan initially to Millwall, then on a permanent deal, and he's giving outstanding service to them. Clipped in by Giggs, and it's over the top from Ronaldo.
It has been a little bit worrying, all set plays Ronaldo's been free. They haven't picked him up in the first half, and he's got free yet again in the second half. And certainly if United could find Ronaldo, he will get these opportunities.
Well, that was the shot from Scholes, magnificently kept out. Ronaldo. Up comes Lawrence. Harris will scrap for it against Brown, but made no real impression, not legally anyway. What's your take on Wes Brown, Ray? Must have been pretty close to the Euro 2004 squad.
Yes, I think it was very, very close, but you know, Wes has had a couple of real major injuries which he's done magnificently to come back from. He's you know, he's had a few months in the first team now, but I think Sven felt that at this moment in time he's not quite back to the standard that was required for Portugal.
Livermore targeting Ifield down that Millwall right. Harris had checked into the centre, but no service forthcoming. Ifield, who drifted into non-league football with Saltine United down near Brighton before Millwall snapped him up. Sort of stand that I used to play. Not very well. Here's Wise. Now Fletcher. Nowhere to go. That's good pressure then applied by Elliott. Now Sylvestre. Millwall fans really doing their best to roar their team on. And United will remain a little cagey, but only one goal. Paul Scholes, who almost made it two. Van Nistelrooy after this one. And between them, the two centre-halves have dealt with the problem. Something they have been doing for some time now for Millwall, since Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins put them together. Here is Wise now. Feisty character, and they need some inspiration from him, or from the likes of Tim Cahill or Ifield. Something to give them real hope now. Sweeney. Now Darren Ward. Don't give it away, that will have been the message from the bench. Ifield. It could yet be promising here for Millwall. Cahill has stayed up there. It's Elliott. And now Wise. Now can he deliver in towards Ifield? Good take though, good claim by Tim Howard. who's held on to the number 1 jersey today. It expects a Roy Carroll. It was, says the manager, a tough decision. That one won't be, surely. Well, no, the referee, I think, felt they just collided then. Giggs and Lawrence. Not so sure about that.
No, I think Matt Lawrence can count himself lucky that he didn't finish up in the book there, because he just, once Giggs toe poked it past him, he just stood one step into his path and said, "You're not going anywhere."
Those 2 defenders do have a thou shalt not pass mentality. Ronaldo to Gary Neville, himself was sent off by Jeff Winter in the game against Manchester City in the Derby FA Cup tie. Ronaldo. That sleight of foot, that change of pace and direction, that so deceives defenders. Roy Keane was saying beforehand with tongue-in-cheek, he needs a bit more confidence, that lad. Now Giggs and Scholes hoping to plot Millwall's downfall again from this set piece. Two players have often been United heroes. Here is Scholes, now then to Ronaldo. The man whose goal is proving significant at the moment. Will it be enough? Giggs with the corner. Wes Brown's just made a late run into the box. Keane's in there. Sylvestre. Here is Wes Brown. Young Sweeney stuck gamely to his task then. Van Nistelrooy making a real menace of himself. But in the end, it's a throw to Millwall.
I just wonder at some stage here that you know, Dennis Wise and Ray Wilkins are going to have to make a decision. They've got obviously Dennis and Livermore in the middle of the field. They are holding players, and they just need to maybe think about letting one of them be released to get forward, or making a change with somebody who's more positive getting forward.
Here's Fletcher, then Scholes, now Keane. There's a loose clearance straight to Ronaldo, taking on Ryan. A routine save really then for Andy Marshall, who has earlier in this final produced some spectacular ones. I'll tell you what, Ray, you can be the one to tell Dennis Wise he's coming off.
Oh, I didn't say it was him, I just said one off.
One off, all right.
But I mean, Dennis obviously has not played for...
Well, how fit is he anyway? Yeah.
Yes, so whether he'll last the 90 minutes, we'll have to wait and see anyway.
Well, I feels pretty sprightly down the right. But a good strong block from O'Shea. That maybe is his best position, left back. He's played in a variety of roles, of course. But with an hour gone, it's still Manchester United edging this contest without really dominating it. Another goal, though, might change that. They will feel they deserve the cushion. Ryan showing his tenacious qualities at left back. His last game, remember, for Millwall, out of contract, on his way out of the club on a free. Says he's had no real offers so far from any suitors. United's 10th corner. Floated over by Ronaldo. There's Sylvestre. Off the goal line. Desperate defending by Millwall. They've just about survived. Only just.
Well, it's a great clearance from Robbie Ryan, but of course...
It's Brown, isn't it?
I think it's Brown that's down there. He threw himself to try and head into the net, and Robbie Ryan came from nowhere, from that far post, and managed to get a clearance. Oof, just
nearly took his head off in the process,
it was a great leap from Sylvestre in the first place.
Didn't Wise do well too, look at that.
Fantastic, but it still looked as though Wes Brown was going to be favourite.
He's wearing the scars. There's a clearance by Ryan, whose foot was almost round his neck. His boot caught him in the head. Well, they were hanging on then, Millwall. No two ways about it. The last thing he needs now is yet another injury after all the setbacks he's had, Wes Brown. But again, it was the alertness of Dennis Wise that saved the day for his team. This could be interesting. Wise and Scholes together. No? Cahill. I think Wise wisely kept out of it.
I think if he hadn't had that booking, he would have been there for that.
Ronaldo in full flow again. Van Nistelrooy. It's the rugged defensive qualities of Darren Ward. Now it's Keane. Giggs out jumped by Elliott. Eiffel trying to dance away from O'Shea, who was having none of it. Now Cahill. Cahill, who is so desperate to shine in this illustrious company, has had his moments. Millwall need a big one now, a big contribution from somewhere. Eiffel. Here is Cahill. Should be Tim Howard. Well, he held on without too much discomfort initially, but I think then was impeded by Harris. Seems to be Jeff Winter's assessment of the situation.
Yeah, I think Neil Harris attacked him from behind here as he tries to throw it. Harris there just stumbles into the back of him, and Tim's not too impressed with that interference.
You've seen Thierry Henry do it. Neville. And Nistelrooy up top, just wandering offside for a second, then popping back onside as he's apt to do. Can't relax for a moment against him. Here's Giggs, looking for a run on goal. Terrific burst here by Ryan Giggs. Was he side down by Livermore? It is a penalty.
Yes, no doubt about that at all. It was a reckless tackle there by Livermore, it really was. Giggs has got the other side of him. He's never going to get to the ball there. He's just wrapped his both legs around him. Definite penalty, and if this goes in, then certainly Millwall have got major problems, and they're going to have to look at ways of maybe changing the side to try and get back in the game somehow.
The last man to score a penalty in the FA Cup final was wearing a Manchester United jersey. It was Eric Cantona back in '94. Ruud van Nistelrooy. Can he beat Marshall? He can. It's 2-0. And Manchester United are now very much in the driving seat. Ruud van Nistelrooy.
Yeah, excellent penalty. No chance for the keeper. Pace and power into the top corner of the net. No chance for Marshall whatsoever. But it really was poor defending which allowed the penalty to be given. I mean, certainly Robbie Ryan and Livermore should never have allowed Giggs to get into that position. And when he did, there was no way that you could tackle him. And Livermore's rash challenge has allowed that penalty to happen and really put them in dire straits now as far as trying to get back in this game.
How he relishes the FA Cup. He's 11th in the competition now for Manchester United. That was always the fear, really, wasn't it, that one of the United stars will come up with something special, as Giggs did then.
Well, that's right. It's been the two wide men, Ronaldo and Giggs, really. Ronaldo particularly, but Giggs on that occasion, who have caused Millwall problems, because Millwall's strength is in the middle of the field. If you can get in wide areas against their two fullbacks, then certainly you've got a chance of exposing them, and that's what's happened on with both the goals, really.
Way by Neville to Brown, then Van Nistelrooy. 29 goals now for him this season. Some say his standards are slipping. Still pretty deadly though, no question about that. Cahill to Peter Sweeney. Well, there is still speculation. He could be leaving, could be on his way to Real Madrid. Sir Alex Ferguson has certainly quashed those suggestions, those rumours, in very strong terms. So has Van Nistelrooy himself, but they do persist. I'm sure the newspapers in England full of it again today. Can United resist a £30 or £40 million offer? That's the test, I suppose. Giggs. Now then to Ronaldo. That's a corner. I think what I would say though, Ray, is why on earth would United want to get rid of a player of his calibre?
Well, exactly. I mean, they're not exactly over-endowed with strikers at the moment, and therefore to sell him, you would think, would be a really poor business decision. So I cannot see him going. I really can't.
It would be a huge change of heart. Ronaldo. Here now and very much for the future. Supported by Keane. A couple of years to go on his contract. Still such a force in midfield. Not quite the rampaging warrior of the past, but such an influence. On the ball again now for United. Who are dictating the pace of this final, now that they have the cushion of the second goal. In by Keane towards Van Nistelrooy. Rather tired lunge then by Ryan. They could be in trouble again. Here is Keane, setting up for Scholes. And it was Dennis Wise with that block. Ferocious challenge, and such a necessary one too.
Yeah, it's looking worrying now for Millwall, isn't it? You know, United have taken total control now, knocking it around at will, finding spaces all over the place, and really putting on an exhibition match in this last 5 minutes since they've scored that second goal.
Well, there is a huge chasm in class, of course. No one doubted that. It's just all about character today. Millwall have shown bags of that, but I don't think it's going to be enough. We shall see. Here's Gary Neville. Now Ronaldo. And it was Van Nistelrooy on that near post. Scholes just behind him. Might have had a better chance.
That's right, certainly Robbie Ryan's finding it difficult at left back now to actually come to terms with the play. But here, look at the poor defending there by the two of them to get in between. Great run from Giggs, but you cannot tackle anybody when he's in that position from behind.
A perfectly placed penalty from Ruud Van Nistelrooy. Which hasn't always been the case from the Dutchman. He's had his misses, that's for sure. That vital one earlier on in the season against Arsenal in the Premiership. At Old Trafford. Neville. Here's Ronaldo. Certainly one or two of the Millwall players looking a little tired now, exhausted by their contribution.
Yes, I think you know, they've got to get a pair of fresh legs on, if not a couple of pair of fresh legs on, because there are some tired Millwall players out there now who have been run all over the show by United. They've given everything, but to have any chance really, they're going to have to get some fresh legs on, you feel.
They have intriguingly among their subs Curtis Weston, who if he does come on will be the youngest player in FA Cup final history. 17 years and 120 days. This is Ryan Giggs. Now then to Keane. Six FA Cup finals, and he hopes now heading for yet another victory. Ray Clements alongside me played in 5 FA Cup finals, started 5 and replay as well, didn't you, Ray? Seems to go up every year though. You're not counting commentating appearances, are you? That doesn't count, you know.
You told me I couldn't count that last one, so...
Well, most fans intend to enjoy the day, whatever the outcome. And most certainly, their heroes have not let them down.
No, they've given everything. It's just, you know, the class has become too much for them now. When they conceded the first, it was always going to be a problem, but the second one really has just finished them off. You know, they're still trying to work as hard as they possibly can, but it's a chasm they're finding more and more difficult to deal with.
It's slipping away. Here's Cahill. Hasn't quite made the impact he would have hoped for. Certainly there was a glimmer of hope in the first half before United broke through just before the interval with the goal from Ronaldo. And now Ruud Van Nistelrooy from the penalty spot has made it 2. And it's a long, long way back from here for Millwall. Darren Fletcher. There is some activity over on the subs bench for the Londoners, so maybe we'll see a change in a moment. In the meantime, is there to be a change in the scoreline? Ryan Giggs threatening again for United. Here's Fletcher. Keane, who has Neville available to his right. Normally pretty reliable with his service. The header though from Ronaldo, always going well wide. But coping with the likes of Ronaldo and Scholes and Van Nistelrooy and Giggs has been such a chance for Millwall. They have given it their best shot, but you wouldn't think now it is going to bring them reward.
No, I think their fans have certainly been proud of what they've done. Dennis Wise there talking to Ray Wilkins. Obviously they're talking about who and what they should do team-wise, but certainly they're going to have to make changes. And Ray's now talking to his physio in terms of who is going to come on, who's going to come off.
But let nothing be taken away from the management team and the effort that they've done, the effort they put in for Millwall, changing the fortunes around really. Mark McCammon is going to come on. He is a striker. Also Barry Cogan. So they're giving it a go. Here's Sylvestre. It's quite a while now really since Millwall staged a worthwhile attack. It's been all United. Darren Fletcher. Approaching now the last quarter of an hour of this cup final. Ronaldo, who hopes he has paved the way for a United victory. Offside Neville. Just went a fraction too soon. Now Robbie Ryan is coming off, and I think Neil Harris as well.
Coming off the field, number 3. Robbie Ryan.
Mark McCammon's around 6'5", so that'll be a change of tactic if he comes on then.
Yes, well, Robbie Ryan really this last 10 minutes has looked a very, very tired player. He's worked extremely hard. He's had his hands full with Ronaldo all the game, and certainly I think he'll be quite pleased to get the break.
Number 23, Mark McCammon.
That surprised me a little bit because, you know, Neil Harris again has worked extremely hard, hasn't had a lot of success, but he is a goal scorer, and if they are going to get back in the game, they need to keep their goal scorers on the pitch. And they certainly have, taken Neil Harris off now, gone with a big tall striker. Livermore has gone now to left back, it looks like.
Well, McCammon will be thrown up front. At the moment, Ward's gone up there as well. That was Keane, winning yet another personal battle. McCammon, who's missed a lot of the season actually through illness and injury. He's only made 3 starts. They're getting now a taste of cup final action. Oh, nicking the ball off Roy Keane, that was cheeky. Was it handball by O'Shea? Well, probably was, but I think Jeff Winter doing his best there to allow the advantage. Then again, that's good refereeing. Can't really fault too many of his decisions today.
No, and to be fair, it's not been a difficult game. There was one incident which he dealt with very well in the first half, which involved Ronaldo, Dennis Wise and Fletcher. But apart from that, it's been a game that's been played in a good spirit. There's been 1 or 2 competitive tackles, but all in all, I would imagine that Jeff Winter's been quite happy with the type of game it's been, and been a relatively easy game for him to handle.
Fletcher. Now Scholes. Fletcher again allowed the freedom of midfield really. Neville. Millwall just hoping to stem the United flow, but it's not easy. Ronaldo. That was careless. Roy Keane made sure there was no harm done. Now Fletcher. Tim Howard, who really has had very little to do. Just one or two awkward moments in the first half for Howard, Ray.
Yes, but I mean, he's not. I can't remember him having to make a serious save, and
Not as such, no.
No, and certainly now, you know, you actually look at the Millwall side, and although they've made a couple of changes, as hard as they're trying, they're looking quite a dispirited midfield, which doesn't all go well. You know, Eiffel's now gone up the front. You know, he started as a striker, and everybody knows he's capable of scoring goals, but he's only capable of scoring those goals if the service is right for him. And at the moment, Millwall can't get enough quality on the ball to actually deliver that service to him.
Well, Dennis Wise realised then he had mistimed his challenge on Van Nistelrooy, and he actually sportingly played the ball out into touch to enable the Dutchman to receive some attention. I think he needs any, though. See, he's a decent chap, really, that Dennis Wise. It's all myth, you know.
He's the loveliest fellow alive off the field. But that's the way he's always played the game. That's why he's been successful. He winds people up. He's got great ability. Don't think he can't play. He can play. Don't worry about that. But part of his game is getting in and around people and winding them up.
Well, he's hoping to wind up the Millwall fans now. He's imploring them to keep going, to keep cheering them on. And they certainly gave a lusty farewell to Robbie Ryan when he departed a few minutes ago on his last game for the club. And also a great reception for Neil Harris. They know what he's achieved on and off the field. That applies to this man too, Sir Bobby Charlton. United through and through. And it seems that his beloved Manchester United are going to come through yet again in search of their 11th FA Cup final triumph. Nearly there. Scholes making no headway this time. It's had a rather frustrating time of it really today. Very important man for England though, right?
Well, a Paul Scholes on fire for England makes England a very, very potent force. And again, I would imagine Sven sat in the stand will be pleased now that Manchester United are 2-0 up. Scholes is getting 90 minutes in because he obviously had that 3-game suspension, then he only had 45 minutes in his previous game. So to get him 90 minutes under his belt, I'm sure that Sven sat in the stand will be quite happy the way this game is going.
I'm happy too that Dennis Wise hasn't got too close to him. That's Neville. Now Keane. Fletcher spreading the play intelligently to locate O'Shea. Then it's Giggs, whose entrancing run led to that second goal, the penalty for Van Nistelrooy. Now it's Giggs again, he might be in here. Ryan Giggs and Van Nistelrooy, it's 3-0. And now we are seeing the real Manchester United.
And that's the ball we were talking about previously, that Marvin Elliott, the midfielder, loses the fellas, runs inside him there. Elliott doesn't know where he is. Scholes, and then obviously Giggs, beautiful ball to Van Nistelrooy, and I don't think he misses those chances. But unfortunately, it was the inexperience of Marvin Elliott there, who is a midfield player, as we know, allowed Giggs to get in that position to deliver that ball.
Laboured defending, I'm afraid, here by Millwall. And there he is, the master goal poacher. He won't score too many easier ones than that. 2 for Van Nistelrooy, 3 for Manchester United. And now there is definitely no way back for plucky Millwall. For all their endeavour, all their commitment, it has been a step too far. McCammon. And Brown had that situation weighed up, at least he did at first. Now it's Neville. Don't think any neutral will deny Millwall a goal, a consolation here. Let's see what Livermore can do. Not quite deep enough. That was Sylvestre. Then Cahill, surely shut from behind, he was by Ronaldo. So here's an opportunity. Pretty clear cut.
Yeah, I think he's got a little touch of cramp as well as he fell there. He's done his fair share of work, Cahill, today as well. And there's a few tired legs out there.
Well, Wise is there, and Sweeney, and Ifill, who would seem to be the favourite. Maybe tired, but how he would relish a successful strike on goal now. Here is Paul Ifill. Scholes, who flung himself in his path. I think there was some holding anyway. United just contemplating a substitution or two. Nicky Butt and Ole Solskjaer are the two players preparing to come on.
71,350.
In front of 71,000 at the Millennium Stadium today. It's a bit of a struggle early on for Sir Alex Ferguson's team, but now they are well in control. For all Millwall's defiance.
Well, it looks like Roy Carroll's coming on as well, so this is obviously Sir Alex Ferguson is paying tribute to some of the players who have contributed to the year, and for them just to have a cameo appearance in these last 8 minutes of the game here.
Yeah, Tim Howard has received the message, I think. There goes Darren Fletcher. Really has worked hard. And Ronaldo departing too. And just listen to the roar that he will be receiving from the United fans here this afternoon.
Yes, I would think that he certainly will be a candidate for the man of the match when it's announced, because he has been outstanding on that right-hand side. We've seen all his tricks, but not only have we seen his tricks this afternoon, we've seen an end product from him. He's scored a wonderful headed goal and been part of many other chances that have been created through him.
Yes, and the manager just signalling to Tim Howard that his cup final is over. A cameo role for Roy Carroll, who of course played so well in the semi-final.
Yes, I'm sure that was a very difficult decision for Sir Alex to make in terms of which goalkeeper he picked in this big game. But to be fair, he went with Tim Howard for most of the season, and I think that's why that he picked him for this particular game.
Well, Sir Alex was saying he was simply startled by how well he was performing, Tim Howard, early on. He kept his place and his form till around January time, and then he was rested for a spell, having just seen a little bit of a dip in form. Nicky Butt. Well, this is to be a finale for him. Some speculation he might be on his way. Certainly seems he nearly departed earlier on in the season in the transfer window. Just smuggled out by young Kogan, only 19, Mary Kogan. So Alex was actually saying this week it was the toughest decision he'd had for some time, the goalkeeping situation, and compared it to back in 1990 when they took on Crystal Palace, and because he had to drop Jim Leighton for the replay. Don't think Jim's spoken to him since. There's Seeley came in. They won the replay though, so he got it right, you could say.
That's right, yes.
They seem to have done that quite a few times down the years.
I think he's got a chance in the management game, hasn't he?
Early days yet. Here's Van Nistelrooy. Pursued by Elliott. Well, they have not let themselves down by any stretch of the imagination, Millwall. But now they've just run out of puff, run out of steam, really, with less than 5 minutes to go. Van Nistelrooy, and then Paul Scholes. Seemed to be caught in two minds. Off goes McCammon. Now, has he got the legs on Brown? Not many have. And it was just too heavy for Ifill in the centre. A very exhausted Paul Ifill.
Yes, he's given everything for the team. But McCammon there, he's shown enthusiasm when he's come on. Obviously his final ball hasn't been what you'd hope it to be, but he's certainly been busy around the team and caused West Brown one or two people a problem.
PA announcers just revealed that Ruud van Nistelrooy is man of the match. Quite sure I'd go along with that.
No, I have to say, it just shows how sometimes goals influence people who are making those decisions, because Ruud has worked hard, but certainly I think other players have had more influence on the game than Ruud has, and certainly one of those for me would have been Ronaldo.
Ruud van Nistelrooy has scored twice, once from the penalty spot. The other a tap in, really. I think you'd have gone close from there, Ray. Close, not in,
well,
close.
Maybe, only maybe.
Cahill searching for McCammon. Then Eiffel on the seat quickly as well. I tell you what, he's covered some ground, hasn't he, Paul Eiffel?
Well, he has. You know, he's been a big part of Millwall's success this year. He's such a strong running lad. He works himself into the ground in the middle of the field, but he has that lovely attribute which you want from your midfield players, and that he's capable of scoring goals. And I think in his last 3 seasons he's averaged 7 goals a season.
Away by Lawrence to Kogan. Now Curtis Weston, the youngster I referred to earlier, is going to come on. He's made only 1 senior appearance, and that was as a substitute for Millwall in the final league game. He's about to become the youngest player in FA Cup final history once they can get the attention of McCammon. Oh, what a moment for him.
A Millwall replacement
incredible.
coming off the field, number 19, Dennis Wise.
Dennis is taking his leave. And what a gesture to send on the youngster in his place.
Yeah, it's a tremendous moment. You know, for all the things that Dennis has given to the game. But now for this young lad, this is a moment he's going to remember for the rest of his life. Whatever else he achieves in the game, he's going to remember this moment. He's going to go in the record books as the youngest player ever to play in an FA Cup final.
17 years and 120 days. Younger than James Prinsep when he made his cup final appearance back in 1879, when Ray was just setting out in the game. Here's Eiffel, almost sneaked in then.
Yes, he sneaked that one in, didn't he?
I waited for a quiet moment. Well, he's a midfield player, and that's the role he's slotted into, vacated now by Dennis Wise. Paul Allen, of course, was a young starter too, wasn't he? 1980 for West Ham. Just a few days older, though, than Prinsep. Here's Roy Keane. Now Van Nistelrooy and Keane again. It was a decent opening, and he knows it too. A few battle scars for him today, but battling away right to the last, as ever.
Yes, I think the face says there that he's been in midfield with Dennis Wise for 90 minutes.
Well, there's Van Nistelrooy's penalty again. Just hearing there will be 2 extra minutes at the end of the 90. Well, even in defeat, I'm sure there will be some party back in southeast London over the next couple of days to celebrate Millwall's appearance in this final. But no question, they have been deservedly beaten in the end. Here's Eiffel.
The marvellous thing is, though, is that you look at the Millwall end and there's not a supporter leaving. They're all staying there to support their team right to the end, because they're so proud of what they've achieved, although they have fallen at the last hurdle. But it's fantastic they've stayed right to the end, and not one of them have I seen leaving and go for an early exit.
Matt Lawrence. Off goes McCammon. Down goes Wes Brown. He is something of a heavyweight, Mark McCammon. Certainly Wes Brown knew he was there. Well, here's Giggs on the run. And well, he was not going to miss from there. Ruud van Nistelrooy putting the seal on this Manchester United victory. Although in fairness to Millwall, that was not a foregone conclusion in the first half.
No, for 43 minutes it all went right for Millwall, but once they conceded the goal, then it was always going to be a massive problem, and it's got bigger for them throughout this second half.
Well, in Livermore. Now Sweeney. Paul Ifill. Away from Brown, still Ifill. Who's back there tackling Roy Keane? Nothing wrong with that, although the pair have injured themselves in the process. And he's just not eased up in any way, Roy Keane.
No, he hasn't. I'm just a little bit worried there that the way he fell, and he was off balance when he tried to make the tackle, that he might have damaged something there quite serious, because he was just that little bit off balance, fell awkwardly, and of course he's had his problems beforehand with injuries.
Yeah.
And for him to stay down like that, it indicates there just might be some sort of problem there. I think with Phil Ifill, it's just a case of he's run himself into the ground and it's cramped.
Well, clearly at some discomfort, the United skipper has been suffering with a hamstring problem. Well, that will take the shine off this victory if he has sustained a major problem. Well, the 90 minutes are almost up, and so are the added on minutes. Some concern over Roy Keane, who has walked very gingerly to the sidelines. Well, just a question of now of what seconds are left on the watch of Jeff Winter on his last appearance as a top referee. And there it is, mission accomplished. The warmest of favourites have duly seen off the brave challenge of underdogs Millwall. Manchester United, thanks to 2 goals from Ruud van Nistelrooy and the first one from Ronaldo, are FA Cup winners for the 11th time without equal. No one can match that in the competition's history. And while it wasn't their major target for the season, it's a triumph that will bring much pleasure, not to mention relief, for Sir Alex Ferguson. A beaming smile from him and for his team. Let's hope that injury for Roy Keane isn't too serious. Maybe not now looking at this. Their first FA Cup success since the treble year of '99. And while Arsenal may have outgunned them in the Premiership, it's United's year for the FA Cup again.
Despite a heroic Millwall effort, United had cruised to a record 11th FA Cup triumph. Their players paid an emotional tribute to former teammate Jimmy Davis, tragically killed in a road accident last summer. Roy Keane, only the second player to play in 6 FA Cup finals, lifted the trophy. Some consolation for United in an otherwise disappointing season. But how Millwall had savoured their day.
Oh, it's been a dream. It's been a dream for weeks on weeks. It's been a haze. In some ways, I'm glad it's over, to be honest with you, because we have been in a haze. And it has been a dream. It's been our cup final. It's been a real cup final, the FA Cup final, the greatest knockout competition in the world. And we've been here with Manchester United, and we created ourselves really well. The fans were superb.
It was fantastic atmosphere, so winning at the Millennium Stadium, the FA Cup final, is fantastic. As a player, you really enjoy it, and you want it never end.
Today was one of the best days in my career, besides having my little boy, and hopefully there's plenty more of these days to come. It may never happen to me again, so I'm just going to cherish the moment and just understand how lucky I am to be playing in this stage.
Oh, it's great. I mean, I've watched this, final at home, in Holland when I was smaller, and we always dreamed to be involved and to lift it as well. That's amazing.
It's Manchester United's FA Cup again. We'll leave you with another look at the best from a very special day.